Everything begins with the seed of coffee here in the nursery. Here we like to explain you about the germination time. 4 months the coffee seed grow like a 4 inches, the coffee plants. But then we need to move and put in another container and put in another greenhouses. Let me show you that. Now we are in this area because before we had 4 months germination into the nurseries with volcano sands or river sands. But here we need 3 months more. The coffee plants grow 25 inches with compost, like egg shells, coffee shells, cow manure, pig manure. It's like a compost we need to use with soil by grow and take new nutrients for coffee plants. Then we need to plant it in the ground by to do new coffee lots. Now we are in the plantation coffee, 5 years old, the first coffee harvest. This coffee looks like healthy because we have the organic laboratory. And this area we like to grow and produce many products like a fertilizer, fungicide and insecticide, but just with plants and leaves. And here we like to spray, for example, fungicide on the leaves, insecticide on the leaves, and a compost like wormery compost is like to put on the ground. But here we need to grow with coffee with shade. The shade we like to use like lemons, orange, bananas, grapefruits. Now Jerome, another tour guide, is going with you, going to show you the workers, pickers, and coffee measure area.
So now here we are in the coffee plantation. Welcome. This is where we had to pick the coffee. The coffee pickers, they had to pick the berries on the coffee bushes. We have to leave the green ones on the coffee bushes. This is the right way to pick the coffee. Now, the coffee pickers, they are picking the ripes like this, berries. But this is not the right way to pick the coffee. This stem has to be on the branches because next year we are going to have the next blooming. So this coffee picker is using a basket in the belly. So this guy is going to put the berries in the basket. Once the basket is full, we have to add the berries in the sack. And then we have to go to the measuring area. At the end of the day, every coffee picker met each other here because this is where we had to measure the coffee. Everybody wait till the truck is coming. Once the truck is here, we have to measure the coffee. The way that we measure the coffee is using a square wood bucket. So every coffee picker have to make a line in order to measure their coffee berries, what they pick in a day. So every coffee picker is going to add the coffee berries in the bucket, in the square wood bucket, and we call this lata. So once they fill the lata, they are going to add the coffee berries in a sack. Then the sack is going to be carried on by the strong men to dump it in a very big truck. So as you can see, there is many people involved in this process. But who are they? And what do they like to work in Selva Negra?
Yo vivía antes aquí, pero ahora tengo mi casa. Pero sí, cuando trabajo aquí, me quedo aquí en la finca.
Tengo una vivienda para que mantengamos trabajando, pero sí, yo tengo mi ranchita allá por bajo, la Cartuja, que le cerquita de Matagal. Ahí tengo mi casita.
Mi mamá vive en la finca y mi padrastro, que es el que hace despulpa el café.
Trabajo aquí en Selva Negra, mi familia es de aquí. Mi madre tiene 15 años de estar viviendo en esta hacienda.
Somos 6 pues por la familia de nosotros. Uno de ellos trabaja allá en la mecánica, el otro es electricista, el otro chaval que trabaja en el hotel es mesero, lo mismo que por la señora pues que es excelente con nosotros, se lleva bien, los tiene en ese lugar. Y el otro que es responsable de cuadrilla también, que por allá anda.
Casi todos me conocen, casi. Sí, casi todos. Tengo una buena comunicación, una buena relación con las personas que trabajan aquí.
Tengo 23 años de trabajar aquí.
No es un trabajo que es aburrido, sino que anda compartiendo con la gente, es dinámico, diría yo, porque anda cogiendo aire, la naturaleza y el buen rato que anda en el café, con los amigos y con toda la gente.
La verdad que el que viene aquí a visitar o a trabajar quiere venir otra vez. Pues yo he venido a cortar café, una parte porque me gusta, otra parte porque es importante ya para fin de año ir recogiendo algo de dinero.
A mí me gusta cortar café porque nos divertimos, hallamos amigos.
Les da todo, les regala todo, ella le da todo, ropita, todo, peormente para los 24. A los niños le da buenos regalos, pues, hay que ser claro. Y a los adultos, pues, que no le va a dar su ropita, sí. Ella se los ha ganado, pues. Así, sinceramente.
Now the truck is leaving. Another day has finished for the workers. But where does the coffee go? Now we go with Manuel, who is another tour guide. He's going to explain the following process.
Hello, this is Manuel. The big truck is just arriving from the coffee plantation and it will come here to be processed. So the truck comes back and it will dump the coffee berries in here. We open the pipe so the water runs down and that helps to pull the coffee berries down. Then we pull the shovel up so the coffee berries go through a hole that you see there and we put them in water to separate the coffee from dirt and rocks. So let's go inside to see how that happens. Remember the coffee that's being dumped outside? So it's coming through the hole to this water tank where we separate rocks, dirt, and little branches that we get from the coffee plantations to get just the berries. And then the coffee berries come through that pipe, this one right here, to the canal where we have a screw that helps to distribute the coffee to the 4 different depulpers. So the depulpers are the machines that will remove the first layer of coffee, the red skin. And then we collect that on the bottom and we use it for compost and the coffee beans are thrown out the other way, from the other side. So coffee beans come out this way and then we take them down to this tank where we separate the coffee beans that have insects inside or are hollow or just the ones that are dry from the good ones. So good ones and heavier continue in the pipe down to the fermentation area where we're going to sit them for 15 to 18 hours to then wash them. So what he's doing is, for the washing, he has to pull all the coffee beans out. And then the coffee continues here, comes out of the fermentation, and then continues to a little pile where a pump will suck the beans up through a pipe and we'll drop them to another canal. In the other canal, the water heats the coffee against the bottom of it, and that's how most of the slimy skin comes off. And then the coffee continues to the end of the canal. And then we'll dump that coffee in a big pile where we keep them in water for a few hours to stop the fermentation. And then we take them out and we send them to the other place, to the dry mill. We're going to finish the process. Okay, so here we are at the dry mill. You see back there how they're drying the coffee? They have to rake it because we have coffee on the bottom that we have to bring out. They dry it in here for a few days, 4 or 6 days, until we can lower the moisture level to 13%. And then we store the coffee in parchment, that's how we call the third skin, in sacks, until the next year when we have to export it. And then we'll have to do the dehusking to remove the third skin, and then we get the raw coffee beans, and that's how we export it to US. After such an amazing coffee tour from seed to cup, do you think it's time to enjoy a good cup of coffee? That's why we're in here. This is our coffee tasting room. But wait, we still have to roast the coffee. It takes about 10 minutes. Then we have to grind it. And after that, we have to add the water. Once we do all these different steps, the coffee is ready to taste it.
Thank you very much for joining us on such an amazing journey from seed to cup. All is left to say is enjoy your cup of coffee.